How come Trump's not in jail? I mean, that's treason. I mean, if he did that, if he was in Russia and he did that, he wouldn't last a second on the streets.
So, Michael, the US elections are around the corner. How dangerous has Donald Trump been for the USA internationally?
Short answer, of course, is very dangerous. He's made America almost a laughingstock, and all these underlying nastiness in America. People see this on their TV stations continually, and they think, oh, well, America says it's a big Democrat and a big liberal and it wants us to follow its policies and so on. And look, and that's what Trump has done. Another point of Trump, he's disparaged NATO. Well, NATO is a North Atlantic Treaty Organization, and the idea is to try and keep peace around the world. And I'm not a great warmonger, to be quite honest, and I would be critical of a lot of things that NATO has done. But you don't hear Trump saying why. What's wrong with NATO? What's it done? What are the positive things and what are the negative things? He's seeking to undermine America's electoral system by claiming, without a shred of evidence, that it's so rigged, he can't promise to concede if he loses. Well, this is disgraceful. Democracy means that if you lose in a fair fight, okay, what's fair? We have procedures for that. In fact, the electoral process in America has been honed over hundreds of years, and the winner has to be the winner. When it's really, really close, maybe 0.001%, like the case of Al Gore, okay, maybe there's a case, and I think Al Gore conceded too quickly. But Trump, okay, the probability at the moment by 10K is 89% probability of Hillary Clinton winning and only 11% of Trump. There's no way he's going to win. So what he's trying to do is to create divisions by saying that the election process is rigged. And that's really dangerous because you can spark a fight almost anywhere by endangering the peace and by promoting one group against another, and especially a public figure like this. So Trump is incredibly dangerous, not only for the United States, but also for the world. Trump has given hope to all those dictators and anti-democracy advocates, of which there are many, far too many around the world. And lastly on this, apparently ISIS, or Daesh they call it, has used Trump as a recruitment tool. My goodness.
Do you think Trump will make good on all his claims, or will he flip-flop when he becomes a private citizen?
Will he flip-flop? I don't think anybody can predict Trump, which means flip-flop, right? So yes, he'll flip-flop like there's no tomorrow. He doesn't seem to be able to keep a single thought in his head except making money on the backs of others by the looks of it, and not paying any taxes. Nationally, he's been so fraudulent in his claims. Remember that he said that Obama was not born in the United States. I mean, what's the point of that? That's to create problems. Then what else? He's insulted the whole presidential process by running for the highest office without doing the slightest shred of any homework whatsoever. Imagine what 8-year-olds, 7-year-olds in the school when they see this. In fact, many parents won't let them watch this guy because he's so outrageous. For instance, grabbing women by their private parts. Vowed to put Hillary in jail if he gets elected. Well, on what evidence? What about due process? You can't go around doing that. Absolutely disgraceful. He's threatened to curb the freedom of the press. Maybe you and I won't be able to have such discussions in the United States down the road. He's not going to get in. He really is not going to get in. Then, gun rights. Oh my goodness. They'll take the law into their own hands. He wants to arm kids in the schools. I mean, this guy is absolutely nuts. And also in his own conventions, everybody should come wearing guns. I mean, my goodness. Anyway, he won't be elected president, but he's damaged the Republican Party. With themselves did nothing except oppose Obama for 8 years.
So he's had a good run so far, and do you think his legacy will continue, and how will it damage America in the future?
Unfortunately, yes, there will be copycats. Because he got the nomination of the Republican Party based on what? All this nonsense, some of it I just mentioned. And in the future, he's not going to become president, thank goodness for that. American people are far too smart. But who knows? He might start his own TV station. He doesn't even like Fox News.
So if Hillary Clinton wins the election, what does it mean for the markets in the USA?
I think there'll be a huge sigh of relief. As you know, here you talk more about markets than I do in terms of investment. And markets need stability. They need to know what's going to happen. And Hillary, is not the greatest picture of her, actually, is a known person. Unfortunately, the big issues, as I just mentioned, of debt and Obamacare were hardly addressed in the election process. You saw the debates. What do they discuss? I think the dollar will continue to be stable, especially as Hillary will get in. Second, borrowing is still relatively cheap, and so will be used to invest in infrastructure, badly needed in the United States, which will create jobs and effective demand. And the labor market is tight, despite the Republicans. The US economy is in pretty good shape. As I mentioned, unemployment is less than 5%. But what will happen is that consumption will rise because of the new investments. But so will interest rates, because when the labor market is tight, you remember the famous Phillips curve? I don't know we talk about that anymore, that when unemployment goes down, inflation goes up, essentially. That's the famous Phillips curve. And it's likely to happen. I think that inflation will start showing its head. Interest rates will rise through increased private and public consumption, and that will keep the dollar strong. So I would say to Dukascopy viewers, look out for a rising, strong dollar and a weak pound, and the euro is going to suffer too, I think.
Well, thank you, Michael, for joining us today to speak about the US election.
Thank you for inviting me. It's been a pleasure.
And thank you at home for watching. Don't forget to check out our other broadcasts on our channel. Goodbye for now.